Good morning from Beijing. Welcome to this special live coverage on the centenary celebrations of the Communist Party of China, or the CPC. I'm Xinhua News Agency correspondent Huang Aiping, reporting from Tian'anmen Square in the heart of the capital city of China. Today, July the 1st, is the 100th birthday of the CPC. A grand ceremony will be held here soon to mark the anniversary. Stay tuned with us on our TV news network CNC World and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter as we will bring you the latest. Today, several colleagues of mine will also join me. They will keep you updated from different locations on and around the square. And first, we will bring you an earlier report of our correspondent Mu Shuyao on the celebrations today.
I'm now at a viewing stand to the west of the Tian'anmen Gate Tower. Around me are guests who are invited to today's celebrations. And earlier, I've talked to some of them, and they said they feel very honored to be here to witness this grand gathering. And they are also very proud of what the party has achieved and the changes brought to the country over the past 100 years. The CPC was founded on July 1st, 1921. The party led the Chinese people to achieve national independence and liberation of the people in 1949, the year when the People's Republic of China was founded. The Chinese people's miserable fate of being poor and weak and being bullied and humiliated over the years was completely changed. Over the past century, the CPC has grown from a small party with some 50 members to one of the world's largest political parties that has more than 95 million members. The party has led China, once an economic backwater, to become the world's second largest economy. People's lives have kept improving. The country has eradicated absolute poverty among its 1.4 billion population. This unprecedented achievement contributed 70% to global poverty reduction. Today, under the leadership of the CPC, the Chinese people are striving to achieve the goal of the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. As the party marks its centenary, the good life the people and the country are enjoying is definitely worth celebrating. Right now, the square is adorned with festive decorations. 100 red flags are erected on both sides of the square, signifying the centenary of the party. We can also see that the choir and the military band are getting ready to perform. The party's top leader, Xi Jinping, is expected to deliver an important speech. And the guests I talked to earlier said they are very looking forward to seeing today's celebrations.
Thank you very much, Xu Yao. When it was founded in 1921, the CPC has made it its funding mission to seek happiness for the Chinese people and the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. It has been dedicated to wholeheartedly serving the people, and international polls have shown that Chinese people's approval ratings of the CPC and the government rank the highest worldwide. And now we will go over to my colleague Zhao Yichao, who is at a location on the western side of the square. Hello, Yichao. Tell us what you can see right now.
Okay, Aiping. Now I'm here at the media section on the square. Today, the air here on the Tian'anmen Square is filled with excitement. And on that side is the monument to the people's heroes. It is located at the center of the square. To the north of the monument is a long red carpet, which extends all the way to the Tian'anmen Gate Tower. And there is a giant arch on which we can see the emblem of the CPC, as well as the words 1921 to 2021, marking the first 100 years of the CPC. And in a short while, a flag-raising ceremony is expected to be held. The guard of honor is gathered near the monument to the people's heroes. They usually escort the national flag in a flag-raising ceremony in a big event like today. Okay, back to you, Aiping.
Thank you very much, Yu Chao. While you're watching live from Tian'anmen Square in the heart of Beijing, we are bringing you the latest on the centenary celebrations of the CPC. Today, July the 1st, is the 100th birthday of the party, and as the party marks its first centenary, the gong salute is a much anticipated part of today's celebrations. And my colleague Feng Gurui is just near the salute cannons. Now let's cross over to him. Hello, Gurui. Tell us what you can see right now.
Hello, Aiping. Now I'm standing near the Zhengyang Gate, close to the southern part of Tiananmen Square. And behind me, the salute cannons are lined up in preparation for the Gran celebration. During today's celebrations, a gun salute is expected to be fired to mark the 100th anniversary of the founding of the CPC. Now we can see that there are a total of 56 salute cannons, representing the solidarity of all 56 ethnic groups in China. I can still remember that around 2 years ago, celebrations were also held at Tiananmen Square for the 70th anniversary of New China's founding. At that time, a 70-gun salute was staged. Today, we will wait until the ceremony starts to see how the cannons will be fired to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the founding of the CPC. Now, back to you, Aiping.
Thank you, Gore, for the information. Well, celebrations for the CPC's centenary will kick off soon here on Tiananmen Square. And before the grand ceremony starts, warming up events will be staged, which will be joined by thousands of people. Now we will go over to my colleague Hong Yan, who is at a point near the Tiananmen Square. Hello, Hong Yan. Tell us what you know about today's warming up events.
Hello, Aiping. Now I'm at the roof of a hotel on Chang'an Avenue, and this is a relatively high location to observe today's celebrations, and it offers a unique view. As you just said, today's warming up events will precede the official grand gathering to be held at the Tiananmen Square. And today, the celebrations on the square are expected to be joined by thousands of youngsters. Speaking of youth, it's worth noting that young people have always played an active and vital role throughout the CPC's development. The CPC's first National Congress in July 1921 was attended by delegates with an average age of 28. In the years that followed, the CPC has maintained its charm among Chinese young people. And after New China's founding, Chinese youth have been the winners, the participants, and beneficiaries of the transformation of the country. Even today, among the over 95 million CPC members, about one-third of them are under the age of 40. Back to you, Aiping.
Thank you, Hong Yan, for the information. We're live from Tiananmen Square on the centenary celebrations of the CPC. Over the past 100 years, the CPC has strived to stay true to its original aspiration, hold on to its founding mission, and worked hard to create a brighter future for the country and for the people. In a short while, a grand gathering will kick off soon here on Tiananmen Square. And now warming up events have started, so we will show you some video clips about how people in various parts of China celebrate the CPC's centenary, as well as pictures from the Tiananmen Square. Please don't go away.
hearing and the songs we just heard would be an expression of patriotism and also some real-world issues that the party had gone through.
And the young people are really the hope and the future of this nation. If you recall, one of the recipients of the July 1st medal became a hero when she was only 14.
14, that's right. Yeah, to maintain its vitality, the party has also been trying to attract more and more Chinese from the younger generation to join the league.
The song you are hearing now is called A New World, which debuted on the Chinese National Day in 2017.
Yeah, this is a relatively new song. It compares the Communist Party of China to a tree that takes roots deep in earth, highlighting the consistent interests and pursuits between the party and the Chinese people. In fact, not only songs like this, but also a series of exhibitions, as well as tourists flocking to very important historical sites during the development paths of the party, and all these reinforce the red genes of the 95 million strong membership and also the 1.4 billion Chinese.
And many of them are actually young faces. So that also partially tells the significance of this particular occasion. It's not only about looking back at history, but more importantly, it's also about looking forward and keep striving for a better nation. And that's exactly this song is about. It expresses a positive outlook of the Chinese people for the nation's future.
That's right. And I totally agree with you that these songs not only look at the past, but also give us a broad outlook of where we came, where we are now, and where we are headed next.
Yeah, and you can also tell this by the lineup of all these songs.
Yeah. Now, this is a song that practically every Chinese person is familiar with. This is called "Without the Communist Party, There Would Be No New China."
By New China, we're talking about the People's Republic.
That's right.
The lyrics were written in 1943 by Cao Guoxin, then a 19-year-old member of an anti-Japanese publicity squad. The song got its name from an editorial of the same title in Jiefang Daily.
So this song demonstrates the people's solid support for the party and their firm belief in the party's leadership. If we take a good listen to it, we can see that the lyrics are pretty straightforward. And they say that only the Communist Party of China can lead the Chinese people to fight for independence and liberation.
Which is true.
It has stood the test of time.
And this song ranks among the favorites of the Chinese people in online polls for many times. We're watching live footage from Tian'anmen Square in central Beijing. This is the celebration marking the 100th anniversary of the founding of the Communist Party of China. From those 7 songs and the atmosphere, this is absolutely, indeed, a great day for the nation.
Well, the red carpet is rolled out for the celebration. Honorary guards with national flags will march along the red carpet. And it looks like the weather is also cooperating on this day. There were forecasts of rain, but apparently it is holding up now.
That's right. And from where we stand, we can see that red flags are flying on the east and west sides of the Tian'anmen Square. 100 red flags, really marking 100 years of an epic journey made by the CPC. And in a short while, General Secretary of the CPC Central Committee, Xi Jinping, will deliver a keynote speech.
Yeah, this is truly a milestone for not only the Communist Party of China, but also for the nation and for the Chinese people. It grew from some over 50 members to 95 million strong. We're watching live feed on Tian'anmen rostrum. The party's top leaders are entering the Tian'anmen rostrum. You can see Xi Jinping, General Secretary of the CPC Central Committee. He, of course, is the Chinese president and also chairman of the Central Military Commission.
And Xi Jinping is with other members of the Politburo of the Standing Committee of the CPC Central Committee. You're watching live footage from Tian'anmen Square in central Beijing. This is a ceremony marking the centenary of the Communist Party of China. General Secretary of the CPC Central Committee, Xi Jinping, is now on the Tian'anmen rostrum, along with other members of the Politburo of the Standing Committee of the CPC Central Committee. Chinese Premier Li Keqiang, Li Zhenshu, Wang Yang, Wang Huning, Zhao Leji and Han Zheng are attending, along with Chinese Vice President Wang Qishan. Various government institutions, including the National People's Congress, the State Council and the Central Military Commission, have sent delegates. Some long-time party members are also observing the event. We're watching live footage from Tian'anmen Square.
Yeah. And representatives from all China's 56 ethnic groups and wide cross-sections of the Chinese society are also attending the event. And now here comes the air flag guards.
A formation of helicopters is escorting the party's flag. And following the party's flag are 4 large slogans. They read, "Long live the great Communist Party of China. Long live the great Chinese people. Long live the great People's Republic of China. And long live the great unity of all ethnic groups of China." That's the helicopters formation flying over Chang'an Avenue and Tian'anmen Square.
That's right. Well, a total of 71 helicopters and fighter jets are now flying over the sky in the Chinese capital to pay tribute to the party, the nation, and the Chinese people.
And this is the first formation made by helicopters escorting the party flag.
Yeah. And then the air formations will come up with different numbers, very significant numbers. For example, we have the J-10 jets. They are forming the number 7 and 1 to signify July 1st, and then 100 to mark the centenary of the party.
That's quite a symbolic shot, isn't it? It's the number
party
100
emblem.
flying over the party emblem.
Indeed. And now we could see that this is the formation, forming the numbers 7 and 1 to signify July 1st. That's the birthday of the Communist Party of China. It was founded in 1921.
Flying over the monument to the people's heroes.
These are very significant historical and historical
Indeed.
sites.
And
Monuments.
here come 3 formations of 15 J-20s. The J-20 is China's 4th generation of supersonic stealth fighters. This is their first large-scale showcase over Tian'anmen Square. This is China's most advanced fighter jets model. We've even got an inside look of the pilot.
This is a rare scene. I mean, it's
This is
once in a
absolutely the first
century.
time in the country's history.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, 10 planes are creating spectacular air rainbows over the Chang'an Avenue and Tian'anmen Square. Also spectacular.
Spectacular. We've seen similar air formations, not this model, but similar air formations to, celebrate or to mark major events in the Chinese capital in the past decade.
But some specific formations, for example, like the numbers 7, 1 and 100 are the first time.
Exactly. General Secretary of the Central Committee of the CPC, Xi Jinping, is on Tiananmen's rostrum, along with other members of the Standing Committee of the Politburo of the CPC.
You're
And
watching
then-
live footage from Tiananmen Square, a celebration marking the centenary of the Communist Party of China.
And we'll begin now.
Now, I would like to announce that the celebration of the 100th anniversary of the founding of the Communist Party of China now begins. Please all rise. First, the gun salutes.
56 cannons representing China's 56 ethnic groups are being fired 100 times. Now 222 soldiers are walking from the monument to the people's heroes to the flagpole. That monument is dedicated to the men and women who struggled, bled, and in many cases made the ultimate sacrifice for the birth of the nation.
The 222 soldiers are marching forward to the flagpole, which is about 222 meters away from the monument to the people's heroes. Now the honor guards are escorting the national flag to the flagpole. And they're marching along with cannons firing. And the usual salute for a national celebration is 28 guns. That number represents the difficult and glorious course of the party from its birth in 1921 to the founding of the People's Republic in 1949, a duration of 28 years. But this time, the cannons will be fired 100 times, marking 100 years of the CPC's epic journey. Chinese President Xi Jinping and also General Secretary of the CPC Central Committee is attending.
This is indeed a solemn moment for the party and the nation. So on the 35th, 40th, and 45th national days, as you mentioned, 28 guns were fired, and 50 guns were fired on the 50th anniversary, and 60 guns were fired on the 60th. And also in recent years, for the military parade on September 3rd, 2015, 70 guns were fired.
You're watching live footage from Tian'anmen Square. This is the celebration marking the centenary of the Communist Party of China. Honor guards are escorting the national flag to the flagpole.
And in just a moment, General Secretary of the Communist Party of China, Xi Jinping, who is also the President of the People's Republic of China, will be delivering a speech marking this centenary celebration.
There are 222 soldiers in total.
The Communist Party of China was founded in July 1921 in Shanghai.
And in following 28 years, the CPC led the Chinese people in their struggle and eventually succeeded in overthrowing the rule of imperialism, feudalism, and bureaucrat capitalism with the founding of the People's Republic.
Raise the national flag, sing the national anthem. Please be seated. A joint congratulatory message from the Democratic Party, Federations of Industry and Commerce, and the personage without party affiliation. Now I would like to invite Vice Chairman of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress, Chairman of the Revolutionary Committee of the Chinese Kuomintang, Comrade Wan Exiang, to deliver the message.
Distinguished CPC Central Committee, distinguished General Secretary Xi Jinping, it has been a century of splendid history and remarkable achievement. As CPC celebrates its 100th anniversary, the Democratic Parties, Association of Industry and Commerce, and public figures without party affiliations hereby pay our highest tribute and sincere congratulations to the CPC, the strong leadership of the Chinese Revolution, construction and reform. In the past century, from the initial founding to the endurance long march, from the war of resistance to consultation on the founding of the nation, from the arduous tasks of early years to the 2 bombs and 1 satellite, from reform and opening up to the path of national rejuvenation. Generation after generation of CPC members have never ceased to work to improve people's livelihood and contribute to the national rejuvenation. The CPC has united people of all ethnic groups to make remarkable achievement and write an epic and splendid chapter in our history. We truly admire the CPC's efforts to stand out when a nation's survival was at risk, unite and lead people of all ethnic groups to overturn the 3 mountains, to win the new democratic revolution, to establish the PRC. For the first time in history, the Chinese people have stood up and became masters of their own country. We truly admire the great CPC's efforts to build the country from scratch, lead the people onto the socialist path, establish basic socialist system, construct independent and full-fledged industrial system and national economic system, and accumulate important experiences for socialist construction. We truly admire the great CPC's efforts to usher in a new era by making the historic decisions of reform and opening up. The CPC is the one that founded, committed to, and developed socialism with Chinese characteristic, unite and lead all people to realize the miraculous leap from a nation established in ruins on the second biggest economy of the world. We truly admire that the great CPC's efforts to write new chapters of socialism with Chinese characteristics. CPC's Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, always put people first, coordinate the national rejuvenation strategy, and cope with the unprecedented changes of the world. It leads the country to adapt to new development stage, carry on new development concept, build new development pattern, and commit to high-quality development. It safeguards national sovereignty, security, and development interests. It advocates new international relations and community of a shared future for mankind. The party and country have made historical achievement and realized historical transformation. Facing with the COVID-19 outbreak, the CPC unites and leads people of all ethnic groups to win the dual battles of disease prevention control and social and economic development, and win the battle against poverty, comprehensively build the moderately prosperous society, and embark on the new journey of comprehensively building a modern socialist country. The national rejuvenation has taken a remarkable stride. The CPC-led system of multi-party cooperation and political consultation is a great political invention based on Chinese reality. 70 years ago, the democratic parties and public figures without party affiliations collectively and voluntarily chose to work under the CPC. As the witnesses, practitioners, and protectors of socialism with Chinese characteristics, we have never forget our mission. We think together, stand together, and work together with the CPC. China today, under the strong leadership of the CPC, is closer to national rejuvenation than ever before, and is more confident and capable to achieve that goal than ever before. We firmly believe that with the steering of General Secretary Xi Jinping, with the guidance of Xi Jinping's thoughts for socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era, with the strong leadership of the CPC, the Chinese nation will overcome all difficulties that come our way. Let us unite close around the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, act as loyal advisors, assistants, and colleagues to the CPC in order to make greater contribution to comprehensively build a modern socialist country and realizing the Chinese dream of great national rejuvenation. We wish eternal youth for the CPC. We wish a promising future for socialism with Chinese characteristics. We wish our great country long and eternal prosperity. Revolutionary Committee of the Chinese Kuomintang, China Democratic League, China Democratic National Construction Association, China Association for Promoting Democracy, Chinese Peasants and Workers' Democratic Parties, China Zhigong Party, the 93 Society, Taiwan Democratic Self-Government League, and China Federation for Industrial Commerce, and public figures without party affiliations. July 1st, 2021. Now the Young Pioneers and Youth League members will now deliver their congratulatory message.
Today, standing at the Tian'anmen Square, we are this close to the heart of the motherland. Today, we praise people's heroes for their glorious achievements and witness their dreams come true. Today, we salute to the CPC as youth. Through 100 years of history, the Communist Party of China is in the prime life. Today, we make a promise to the party on behalf of the youth. In the next 100 years, listen to the party, appreciate the party, go with the party. Forge ahead to our destination with one heart to the party. My mom tells me that the look of the CPC in everyone's heart is the same, a glorious image. The party is the rising sun, dispelling darkness, bringing light to make our lovely country based in hope. The party is a flag flying high because it declares faith and points out the direction to steer the course of the country to the future. My teacher tells me that a century ago, the Communist Party of China was born in the old country, and it spreads the fire of faith to shine brightly with the light of truth. This light inspires the revolutionary ideals on Jinggangshan Mountain because we believe a single spark can start a prairie fire. And the light illuminated the light of the path of the long march, so the seemingly insurmountable could be overcome. These lights lit up national hope on Pagoda Hill to defend North China and the Yellow River. This light witnessed the event, 1 million strong troops across Yangtze River, bringing epoch-making changes to the country. Look, the first 5-star red flag was raised in Tian'anmen Square, marking that Chinese people has since then stood up. People have started to run the country and build a new China. This is the passion of the Chinese people, full of pride. Listen, what a loud and clear military sound of resisting U.S. aggression and aid Korea to protect China. Listen, what a powerful vow made by the airmen in the Dating oil field. And listen, what a earth-shaking sound from the east by the 2 bombs and 1 satellite. Listen, what a heroic moment and movement in Red Flag Canal, and step forward to rise to the occasion where the country needs us the most. The South China Sea waves with the wind blowing from the east. The story of spring was spread out. In the story, we have seen the people in the special economic zone dare to take the lead. And in the story, we have seen Hong Kong and Macau return to the motherland. And in the story, we have seen Tibet's railway was built, connecting unity and progress. And we have also seen the torch of Olympic Games kindle the flame of confidence and self-strengthening. United together and realize China. From regaining dignity to becoming prosperity and strong, the clarion call for a new era is sounding across China. Poverty alleviation has achieved, and people now live in a decent life. We uphold the people-centered philosophy. Chang'e Lunar Probe and Jiaolong Submersible are the examples of major projects of China amazing the world. And strong science and technology make the country strong. Ecological civilization featuring green and low carbon make a beautiful China. And lucid water and large mountain and invaluable assets. Peaceful development for win-win cooperation and Belt and Road Initiative enable us better connected and in order to build a shared future for mankind. New stage, new thoughts, and new paradigm of development. Chinese path and Chinese miracle win the applause around the world. Seeking happiness for the people and national rejuvenation for the nation. Meeting people's evergreen needs for a better life. This is an unfailing commitment. And the nation is composed of the people, and the people are all that matter to the nation. Dream is ahead, the road is underfoot. As dream chaser, we are ready to realize the second centenary goal, to realize the great dream of national rejuvenation. We are ready to fight for the cause of socialism, and will always be prepared. Remember our aspiration, stay youth and vigorous. Aim high and look far. Although 100 years, we're still young. Strive for the dream as youth and dedicate ourselves to the party. Please rest assured, we are the ones to make our country strong. Please rest assured, we are the ones to make our country strong. And please rest assured, we are the ones to make our country strong. Now, please allow me to invite General Secretary of the Communist Party of China Central Committee, Chinese President, Chairman of the Central Military Commission, Comrade Xi Jinping, to deliver important speech.
Comrades and friends, today, the 1st of July, is a great and solemn day in the history of both the Communist Party of China and the Chinese nation. We gather here to join all party members and the Chinese people of all ethnic groups around the country in celebrating the centenary of the party. Looking back on the glorious journey the party has traveled over 100 years of struggle, and looking ahead to the bright prospects of the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. To begin, let me extend warm congratulations to all party members on behalf of the CPC Central Committee. On this special occasion, it is my honor to declare on behalf of the party and the people that through the continued efforts of the whole party and the entire nation, we have realized the first centenary goal of building a moderately prosperous society in all respects. This means that we have brought about a historical resolution to the problem of absolute poverty in China, and we are now marching in confident strides toward the second centenary goal of building China into a great modern socialist country in all respects. This is a great and glorious accomplishment of the Chinese nation for the Chinese people and for the Communist Party of China. Comrades and friends, the Chinese nation is a great nation with a history of more than 5,000 years. China has made indelible contributions to the progress of human civilization. After the Opium War of 1840, however, China was gradually reduced to semi-colonial, semi-feudal society and suffered great ravages. Than ever before, the country endured intense humiliation. The people were subjected to great pain, and the Chinese civilization was plunged into darkness. Since that time, national rejuvenation has been the greatest dream of the Chinese people and the Chinese nation. To save the nation from peril, the Chinese people put up a courageous fight. As noble-minded patriots sought to pull the nation together. The Taiping Heavenly Kingdom movement, the Reform movement in 1898, the Yihetuan movement, and the revolution of 1911 rose one after another, and a variety of plans were devised to ensure national survival, but all of these ended in failure. China was in urgent need of new ideas to lead the movement to save the nation and a new organization to rally revolutionary forces. With the salvos of Russia's October Revolution in 1917, Marxism-Leninism was brought to China. Then, in 1921, as the Chinese people and Chinese nation were undergoing great awakening and profound social changes in history, was becoming closely integrated with the Chinese workers' movement. The Communist Party of China was born. The founding of a Communist Party in China was an epoch-making event, which profoundly changed the course of Chinese history in modern times. Transformed the future of the Chinese people and nation, and altered the landscape of world development. Since the very day of its founding, the party has made seeking happiness for the Chinese people and rejuvenation for the Chinese nation its aspiration and mission. All the struggle, sacrifice, and creation through which the party has united and led the Chinese people over the past 100 years has been tied together by one ultimate theme: bringing about the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. To realize national rejuvenation, the party united and led the Chinese people in fighting bloody battles with unyielding determination, achieving great success in the new democratic revolution. Through the Northern Expedition, the Agrarian Revolutionary War, the War of Resistance against Japanese aggression, and the War of Liberation, we fought armed counter-revolution with armed revolution, toppling the three mountains of imperialism, feudalism, and bureaucratic capitalism, and establishing the People's Republic of China, which made the people masters of the country. We thus secured our nation's independence and liberated our people. The victory of the new democratic revolution put an end to China's history as a semi-colonial, semi-feudal society, to the state of total disunity that existed in old China, and to all the unequal treaties imposed on our country by foreign powers and all the privileges that imperialist powers enjoyed in China. It created the fundamental social conditions for realizing national rejuvenation. Through tenacious struggle, the party and the Chinese people showed the world that the Chinese people had stood up, and that the time in which the Chinese nation could be bullied and abused by others was gone forever. To realize national rejuvenation, the party united and led the Chinese people in endeavoring to build a stronger China with a spirit of self-reliance, achieving great success in socialist revolution and construction. By carrying out socialist revolution, we eliminated the exploitative and repressive feudal system that had persisted in China for thousands of years, and established socialism as our basic system. In a process of socialist construction, we overcame subversion, sabotage, and armed provocation by imperialist and hegemonic powers, and brought about the most extensive and profound social changes in the history of the Chinese nation. This great transformation of China from a poor and backward country in the East with a large population into a socialist country laid down the fundamental political conditions and the institutional foundation necessary for realizing national rejuvenation. Through tenacious struggle, the party and the Chinese people showed the world that the Chinese people were capable of not only dismantling the old world, but also building a new one. That only socialism could save China, and that only socialism with Chinese characteristics could develop China. To realize national rejuvenation, the party united and led the Chinese people in freeing the mind and forging ahead, achieving great success in reform, opening up, and socialist modernization. We established the party's basic line for the primary stage of socialism. Resolutely advanced reform and opening up, overcame risks and challenges from every direction, founded, upheld, safeguarded, and developed socialism with Chinese characteristics, thus bring about major turn with far-reaching significance in the history of the party since the founding of the PRC. This enabled China to transform itself from a highly centralized plan economy to a socialist market economic brimming with vitality, and from a country that was largely isolated to one that is open to the outside world across the board. It also enabled China to achieve the historical leap from a country with relatively backward productive forces to the world's second largest economy, and to make the historical transformation of raising the living standards of its people from bare substance to an overall level of moderate prosperity, and then ultimately to moderate prosperity in all respects. These achievements fuel the push toward national rejuvenation by providing institutional guarantee imbued with new energy as well as the material conditions for rapid development. Through tenacious struggle, the party and the Chinese people showed the world that by pursuing reform and opening up, a crucial move in making China what it is today, China has caught up with the times in great strides. To realize national rejuvenation, the party has united and led the Chinese people in pursuing a great struggle, great project, a great cause, and a great dream through a spirit of self-confidence, self-reliance, and innovation, achieving great success for socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era. Following the party's 18th National Congress, socialism with Chinese characteristics entered a new era. In this new era, we have upheld and strengthened the party's overall leadership, ensured coordinated implementation of the five-sphere integrated plan, and the four-pronged comprehensive strategy, upheld and improved the system of socialism with Chinese characteristics, modernized China's system and capacity for governance, remained committed to exercising rule-based governance over the party, and developed a sound system of inter-party relations. We have overcome a long list of major risks and challenges, fulfilled the first centenary goal, and set up strategic steps for achieving the second centenary goal. All the historic achievements and changes in the cause of the party and the country have provided the cause of national rejuvenation with more robust institutions, stronger material foundations, and a source of inspiration for taking greater initiative. Through tenacious struggle, the party and the Chinese people have shown the world that the Chinese nation has achieved a tremendous transformation from standing up and growing prosperous to becoming strong, and that China's national rejuvenation has become a historical inevitability. Over the past 100 years, the party has united and led the Chinese people in writing the most magnificent chapter in the millennium-long history of the Chinese nation, embodying the dauntless spirit that Mao Zedong expressed when he wrote, "Our minds grow stronger for the martyr's sacrifice, daring to make the suns and moons shine in new sky. The great paths we have pioneered, the great cause we have undertaken, and the great achievements we have made over the past century will go down in the annals of the development of the Chinese nation and human civilization." Comrades and friends, 100 years ago, the pioneers of communism in China established the Communist Party of China and developed the great founding spirit of the party, which is comprised of the following principles: upholding truth and ideals, staying true to our original aspiration and founding mission, fighting bravely without fear of sacrifice, and remaining loyal to the party and faithful to the people. This spirit is the party's source of strength. Has carried forward this great founding spirit through its protracted struggles. It has developed a long line of inspiring principles for Chinese communists and tempered distinct political character. As history has kept moving forward, the spirit of the party has been passed on from generation to generation. We will continue to promote our glorious tradition and sustain our revolutionary legacy so that the great founding spirit of the party will always be kept alive and carried forward. Comrades and friends, we owe all that we have achieved over the past 100 years to the concerted efforts to the Chinese communists, the Chinese people, and the Chinese nation. Chinese communists, with comrades Mao Zedong, Deng Xiaoping, Jiang Zemin, and Hu Jintao as their chief representatives have made tremendous and historic contributions to the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. To them, we express our highest respect. Let us take this moment to cherish the memory of comrades
为中国共产党
毛泽东
建立、巩固、发展做出重大贡献的毛泽东、周恩来、刘少奇、朱德、邓小平、陈云同志等
and other veteran revolutionaries who contributed greatly to China's revolution construction and reform, and to the founding, consolidation, and development of the Communist Party of China. Let us cherish the memory of the revolutionary martyrs who bravely laid down their lives to establish, defend, and develop the People's Republic. Let us cherish the memory of those who dedicated their lives to reform, opening up, and socialist modernization. And let us cherish the memory of all the men and women who fought tenaciously for national independence and the liberation of people in modern times. Their great contributions to our motherland and our nation will be immortalized in the annals of history, and their noble spirits will live on forever in the hearts of the Chinese people. The people are the true heroes, for it is they who create history. On behalf of the CPC Central Committee, I would like to pay my highest respects to workers, farmers, and intellectuals across the country, to other political parties, public figures without party affiliation, people's organizations, and patriotic figures from all sectors of society, to all members of the People's Liberation Army, the People's Armed Police Force, and Public Security Police, and the Fire and Rescue Services, to all socialist working people, and to all members of the United Front. I would like to extend my sincere greetings to compatriots in Hong Kong and Macau special administrative regions, and in Taiwan, as well as in overseas Chinese. And I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to people and friends from all around the world who have shown friendship to the Chinese people and understanding and support for China's endeavors in revolution, development, and reform. Comrades and friends, though our party's founding mission is easy to define, ensuring that we stay true to this mission is a more difficult task. By learning from history, we can understand why powers rise and fall. Through the mirror of history, we can find where we currently stand and gain foresight into the future. Looking back on the party's 100-year history, we can see why we were successful in the past and how we can continue to
从而
succeed
在
in the
新的
future.
征程上更加坚
This
定
will ensure that
更
we
加自
act
觉地
with
牢记初
greater
心使命
resolve and
开创
purpose
美好未来
in staying true to our founding mission and pursuing a better future
以史
on a
为
new
鉴
journey that lies
开创
before
未来
us.
必须坚持中国共产党坚强领导
We must uphold the firm leadership of the party.
办好中国的事情
China's success
关键
hinges
在党
on the party.
中华民族近代以来180多年的历史
The more than
中国
180-year-long
共产党成立以来
modern history of the Chinese nation,
100年的历史
the 100-year-long history of the party,
中华人民共和国成立以来70多年的历史
and the more than 70-year-long
都充分证
history
明
of the People's
没
Republic
有
of
中国共
China
产党
all
就
provide
没有
ample
新中国
evidence that without the Communist
就
Party
没
of
有
China,
中华民族
there will
伟
be
大
no
复兴
new China and no national
历史
rejuvenation.
和人民选择了中国
The
共
party
产
was
党
chosen by history and the people.
中国共产党领导是中国特色社会主义
The leadership
最
of the
本质的特
party
征
is the defining feature of
是中
socialism
国特色
with
社会主义
Chinese
制度的最
characteristics
大优势
and constitutes the greatest
是党和
strength
国家的根本
of the
所在
system. It is
命
the
脉所在
foundation and lifeblood of
是
the
全国
party
各族
and
人
the
民的利益
country
所系
and the
命
crux
运所系
upon which the interests and well-being of all
新
Chinese
的征
people
程上
depend.
我
On the
们
journey
必须
ahead,
坚持党的
we must
全面领导
uphold the party's overall
不断完
leadership
善党的领导
and continue to enhance its
增
leadership.
强4个意识
We must be deeply conscious of
坚
the
定
need
4个自信
to maintain political integrity, think in
做
big
到
picture terms, follow
两个维护
leadership core, and keep in alignment with the central
牢
party
记
leadership.
国之
We
大
must
者
stay confident in the past, theory
不断提
system,
高
and
党科学
culture of
执政
socialism with Chinese
民主执政
characteristic. We must
依法
uphold the
执政
core
水
position
平
of the General Secretary
充分发
of
挥
the
党总揽全局协调各
Party
方的
Central Committee
领导核
and in the
心
party
作
as a whole, and uphold the Central Committee's authority and the centralized unified leadership.
以史为鉴开创未来
As we put conscious effort into
必须
learning from
团结
history
带
to
领
create the bright
中国
future,
人民
we must bear the following
不
in
但为
mind.
美好生活而
We
奋斗
must unite the lead the Chinese people in working
江山就
ceaselessly
是
for a better
人民
life.
人
This
民就
country
是
is
江
its
山
people, and people
打
are the
江山
country.
守江
As
山
we have fought to
守的
establish to consolidate
是
our
人民的
leadership
心
over the country, we have in fact been fighting to earn and
中国
keep the
共产
people's
党
support.
根基在人民
The party has in the
血脉
people
在
its
人民
roots, its lifeblood,
力量
and the
在人民
source of strength.
中国共产党始终代表
The party has
最广
always
大人民根本
represented
利益
the fundamental interests of all
与
Chinese
人民
people.
休戚与共
It stands with them
生死相依
through thick and thin and
没有
shares
任
a
何
common
自己
fate
特
with
殊的
them.
利益
The party has no special
从来不代表
interests
任何
of
利益集
its
团
own. It has
任何
never
权势
represented
集团
any individual
任
interest group,
何特权阶层的
power
利益
group, or privileged stratum.
任何想把中国共产党同中国人民分
Any
割开来
attempt to
对立
divide
起
the
来的企
party
图
from the Chinese
都是
people or to set the
绝不
people
会得
against the
逞的。
party is bound to fail.
9500多万中国共产党人
The
不答
more
应
than
14
95
亿多
million
中国
party
人民
members
也
and
不
the
答
more
应
than 1.4 billion Chinese people will never allow such a scenario to come to pass.
希
On the journey ahead, we must rely closely on the people to create history, upholding the party's fundamental purpose of wholeheartedly serving the people. We will stand firmly with the people, implement the party's mass line, respect the people's creativity, and practice a people-centered philosophy of development. We will develop whole process people's democracy, safeguard social fairness and justice, and resolve the imbalances and inadequacies in development. And the most pressing difficulties and the problems that are of great concern to the people. In doing so, we will make a more notable and substantive progress toward achieving well-rounded human development and common prosperity for all. We must continue to adapt Marxism to the Chinese context. Marxism is the fundamental guiding ideology upon which our party and country are founded. It is the very soul of our party and the banner which it strives. The Communist Party of China upholds the basic tenets of Marxism and the principle of seeking truth from facts. Based on China's reality, we have developed keen insights into the trends of the day, seized initiative in history, and made painstaking explorations. We have thus been able to keep adapting Marxism to the Chinese context and the needs of our times, and to guide the Chinese people in advancing our great social revolution. At the fundamental level, the capability of our party and the strengths of socialism with Chinese characteristics are attributable to the fact that Marxism works. On the journey ahead, we must continue to uphold Marxism, Leninism, Mao Zedong's thought, Deng Xiaoping's theory. The theory of three represents the scientific outlook on development, and fully implement the thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. We must continue to adapt the basic tenets of Marxism to China's specific realities and its fun traditional culture. We will use Marxism to observe, understand, and steer the trends of our times, and continue to develop the Marxism of contemporary China and in the 21st century. We must uphold and develop socialism with Chinese characteristics. We must follow our own path. This is the bedrock that underpins all the theories and the practices of our party. More than that, it is the historical conclusion our party has drawn from its struggles over the past century. Socialism with Chinese characteristics is a fundamental achievement of the party and the people, forged through innumerable hardships and great sacrifice, and it is the right path for us to achieve national rejuvenation. As we have upheld and developed socialism with Chinese characteristics and driven coordinated progress in material, political, cultural, ethical, social, and ecological terms, we have pioneered a new and uniquely Chinese path to modernization and created a new model for human advancement. On the journey ahead, we must adhere to the party's basic theory, line, and policy, and implement the five-sphered integrated plan and the four-pronged comprehensive strategy. We must deepen reform and opening up across the board, ground our work in this new stage of development, fully and faithfully apply the new development philosophy and foster a new pattern of development. We must promote high-quality development and build up our country's strengths in science and technology. We must ensure it is our people who run the country, continue to govern based on the rule of law, and uphold the core socialist values. We must ensure and enhance public well-being in the course of development, promote harmony between humanity and nature, and take well-coordinated steps towards making our people prosperous, our nation strong, and our country beautiful. The Chinese nation has fostered a splendid civilization over more than 5,000 years of history. The party has also acquired a wealth of experience through its endeavors over the past 100 years and during more than 70 years of governance. At the same time, we are also eager to learn what lessons we can from the achievements of other cultures and welcome helpful suggestions and constructive criticism. We will not, however, accept sanctimonious preaching from those who feel they have the right to lecture us. The party and the Chinese people will keep moving confidently forward in broad strides along the path that we have chosen for ourselves, and we will make sure the destiny of China's development and progress remains firmly in our own hands. We must accelerate the modernization of national defense and the armed forces. A strong country must have a strong military, as only then can it guarantee the security of the nation. At the point that it was engaged in violent struggle, the party came to recognize the irrefutable truth that it must command the gun and build a people's military of its own. The people's military has made indelible achievements on behalf of the party and the people. It is a strong pillar for safeguarding our socialist country and preserving national dignity, and a powerful force for protecting peace in our region and beyond. On the journey ahead, we must fully implement the party's thinking on strengthening the military in the new era, as well as our military strategy for the new era. Maintain the party's absolute leadership over the people's armed forces, and follow a Chinese path to military development. We will take comprehensive measures to enhance the political loyalty of the armed forces, to strengthen them through reform and technology and the training of competent personnel, and to run them in accordance with the law. We will elevate our people's armed forces to world-class standards so that we are equipped with greater capability and more reliable means for safeguarding our national sovereignty, security, and development interests. We must continue working to promote the building of a human community with a shared future. Peace, concord, and harmony are ideas the Chinese nation has pursued and carried forward for more than 5,000 years. The Chinese nation does not carry aggressive or hegemonic traits in its genes. The party cares about the future of humanity and wishes to move forward in tandem with all progressive forces around the world. China has always worked to safeguard world peace, contribute to global development, and preserve international order. On the journey ahead, we will remain committed to promoting peace, development, cooperation, and mutual benefit, to an independent foreign policy of peace, and to the path of peaceful development. We will work to build a new type of international relations and a human community with a shared future. Promote high-quality development of the Belt and Road Initiative through joint efforts and use China's new achievements in development to provide the world with new opportunities. The party will continue to work with all peace-loving countries and peoples to promote the shared human values of peace, development, fairness, justice, democracy, and freedom. We will continue to champion cooperation over confrontation, to open up rather than closing our doors, and to focus on mutual benefits instead of zero-sum games. We will oppose hegemony and power politics and strive to keep the wheels of history rolling toward bright horizons. We Chinese are the people who uphold justice and are not intimidated by threats of force. As a nation, we have a strong sense of pride and confidence. We have never bullied, oppressed, or subjugated the people of any other country. And we never will. By the same token, we will never allow any foreign force to bully, oppress, or subjugate us. Anyone who would attempt to do so will find themselves on a collision course with a great wall of steel forged by over 1.4 billion Chinese people. We must carry out a great struggle with many contemporary features. Having the courage to fight and the fortitude to win is what has made our party invincible. Realizing our great dream will require hard work and persistence. Today, we are closer, more confident, and more capable than ever before of making the goal of national rejuvenation a reality. But we must be prepared to work harder than ever to get there. On the journey ahead, we must demonstrate stronger vigilance and always be prepared for potential danger even in times of calm. We must adopt a holistic approach to national security that balances development and security imperatives, and implement the national rejuvenation strategy within a wider context of the once-in-a-century changes taking place in the world. We need to acquire a full understanding of the new features and requirements arising from the change to the principal contradiction in Chinese society and the new issues and challenges stemming from a complicated international environment. We must be both brave and adept in carrying out our courage and struggle, forging new paths and building new bridges whenever necessary to take us past all risks and challenges. We must strengthen the great unity of the Chinese people. In the course of our struggles over the past century, the party has always placed the united front in a position of importance. We have constantly consolidated and developed the broadest possible united front, united all the forces that can be united, mobilized all possible and positive factors that can be mobilized, and pulled as much strength as possible for collective endeavors. The Patriotic United Front is an important means for the party to unite all the sons and daughters of the Chinese nation, both at home and abroad, behind the goal of national rejuvenation. On the journey ahead, we must ensure great unity and solidarity, and balance commonality and diversity. We should strengthen theoretical and political guidance, build broad consensus, and bring together the brightest minds and expand common ground and the convergence of interests, so that all Chinese people, both at home and overseas, can focus their ingenuity and energy on the same goal and come together as a mighty force for realizing national rejuvenation. We must continue to advance the great new project of party building. A hallmark that distinguishes the Communist Party of China from other political parties is its courage in undertaking self-reform. An important reason why the party remains so vital and vibrant despite having undergone so many trials and tribulations is that it practices effective self-supervision and full and rigorous self-governance. It has thus been able to respond appropriately to the risks and tests of different historical periods to ensure that it always remains at the forefront of the times, even as profound changes sweep the global landscape, and to stand firm as the backbone of the nation throughout the process of meeting various risks and challenges at home and abroad. On the journey ahead, we must keep firmly in mind the old adage that it takes a good blacksmith to make a good steel. We must demonstrate greater political awareness of the fact that full and rigorous self-governance is a never-ending journey. With strengthening the party politically as our overarching principle, we must continue advancing the great new project of party building in the new era. We must tighten the party's organizational system, work hard to train high-caliber officials who have both moral integrity and professional competence, remain committed to improving party conduct, upholding integrity and combating corruption, and root out any elements that would harm the party's advanced nature and purity, and any viruses that would erode its health. We must ensure that the party preserves its essence, color, and character, and see that it always serves as the strong leadership core in the course of upholding and developing socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era. Comrades and friends, we will stay true to the letter and the spirit of the principle of one country, two systems, under which the people of Hong Kong administered Hong Kong and the people of Macau administered Macau, both with a high degree of autonomy. We will ensure that the central government exercise overall jurisdiction over Hong Kong and Macau, and implement the legal system and the enforcement mechanisms for the two special administrative regions to safeguard national security. While protecting China's sovereignty, security, and development interests, we will ensure social stability in Hong Kong and Macau and maintain lasting prosperity and stability in the two special administrative regions. Resolving the Taiwan question and realizing China's complete reunification is a historic mission and unshakable commitment of the Communist Party of China. It is also a shared aspiration of all the sons and daughters of the Chinese nation. We will uphold the one country principle and the 1992 consensus and advance peaceful national reunification. All of us, compatriots on both sides of the Taiwan Strait, must come together and move forward. In unison, we must take resolute action to utterly defeat any attempt toward Taiwan independence and work together to create a bright future for national rejuvenation. No one should underestimate the resolve, the will, and ability of the Chinese people to defend their national sovereignty and territorial integrity. Comrades and friends, the future belongs to the young people, and our hopes also rest with them. A century ago, a group of young progressives held aloft the torch of Marxism and searched assiduously in those dark years for ways to rejuvenate the Chinese nation. Since then, under the banner of the Communist Party of China, generation after generation of young Chinese have devoted their youth to the cause of the party and the people, and remain in the vanguard of the drive to rejuvenate the nation. In the new era, our young people should make it their mission to contribute to national rejuvenation and aspire to become more proud, confident, and assured in their identity as Chinese people, so that they can live up to the promise of their youth and expectations of our times, our party, and our people. Comrades and friends, a century ago, at the time of its founding, the Communist Party of China had just over 50 members. Today, with more than 95 million members in a country of more than 1.4 billion people, it is the largest governing party in the world. And enjoys tremendous international influence. A century ago, China was decline and withering away in the eyes of the world. Today, the image it presents to the world is one of a thriving nation that is advancing with unstoppable momentum toward rejuvenation. Over the past century, the Communist Party of China has secured extraordinary historical achievements on behalf of the people. Today, it is rallying and leading the Chinese people on a new journey toward realizing the second centenary goal. To all party members, the Central Committee calls on every one of you to stay true to our party's founding mission and stand firm in your ideals and convictions, acting on the purpose of the party. You should always maintain close ties with the people. Emphasize and work with them. Stand with them through good times and bad, and continue working tirelessly to realize their aspirations for a better life and to bring still greater glory to the party and the people. Comrades and friends, today, 100 years on from its founding, the Communist Party of China is still in its prime and remains as determined as ever to achieve lasting greatness for the Chinese nation. Looking back on the past, we have traveled and forward to the journey that lies ahead. It is certain that with the firm leadership of the party and the great unity of the Chinese people of all ethnic groups, we will achieve the goal of building a great modern socialist country in all respects and fulfill the Chinese dream of national rejuvenation. Long live our great, glorious, and correct party! Long live our great, glorious, and heroic people!
Please all rise to the Internationale. ceremony marking the centenary of the Communist Party of China now concludes.
Welcome back. You're watching live on Tian'anmen Square in downtown Beijing. The grand ceremony celebrating the CPC's centenary has just concluded. Over 100 years, the CPC has grown from a party with over 50 members to one of the world's largest political parties. And during the past century, the CPC has transformed the once impoverished country into the world's second largest economy and has led China in achieving miracles of rapid economic growth and long-term social stability. It has made a great and historic contribution to the Chinese nation. And now, under the leadership of the CPC, the Chinese people are moving towards the long-range objectives through 2035 and the goal of building a great modern socialist country by 2050. And with that, we'll wrap up today's live stream. Please follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and stay tuned with us on CNC World as we will bring you the latest news about China and the world. I'm Huang Yiping with Xinhua News Agency. Thank you very much for being with us, and bye for now.